What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video is gonna be a pretty personal one, and that's because 3 years ago I got weight loss surgery. Now I'm making this video because I get so many questions on what weight loss surgery was like. Was it worth it? What to expect? So I thought, you know what? I'm gonna make a video on it. I'm gonna sit down and talk. I'm not gonna promise you guys that this video is gonna be a short one. It's gonna be pretty personal, pretty detailed. So we got a lot to talk about today. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start from the beginning, and then we're gonna work our way to when I got surgery and then what happened after surgery. And if you guys are wondering whether it was worth it or not, you're gonna have to stay till the end to find out, all right? So, most of you may not know this, but your boy used to be the Michelin Man. I used to be Chubby McChub, okay? I was 298 pounds at my heaviest, and being only 5'5", I really don't know how many kilos and centimeters that is, but I guess I'll go ahead and throw them on the screen. Things were kind of getting out of hand. So how did I get there? Well, you know, long time ago in a kitchen far away, I found a cupboard, and inside the cupboard was, you know, candy, chocolates, barbecue sauce. Oh my God, if you could literally hook me up to an IV of barbecue sauce, I mean, that was liquid gold, baby. I would shoot it up, you know, put it under my any way I could get barbecue sauce into my system as a kid, that was my jam. I loved chocolate. I mean, I'm talking about every single thing that was unhealthy for you, that was my jam. Now, you know, unfortunately, I was bullied as a kid, so that kind of led me down the path to find comfort in food. And that's kind of becoming the norm these days when you talk to, you know, a lot of people that have struggled with their weight loss. You know, they kind of have some sort of psychological reason for why they put on that weight. But I didn't really start putting on massive amounts of weight until much later on. So I want to say when I got to high school, I was averaging about 220 pounds. And then, you know, same thing into college and then into medical school. Now, here's where things started to really, you know, pile on for me. I was, you know, in the middle of medical school. I was studying for my exams. I was really stressed out. And what I would do is I would eat. You know, we were home to study for our exams, so we got nothing better to do than to study. And pretty much the only thing, and I've talked to so many students about this, and I wonder if you guys can relate. If you guys can relate to this, comment this down below. I mean, the only thing I had to look forward to in my day was food. I mean, I would be sitting there studying about some sort of disease and, you know, diabetes, while in the back of my head I'm thinking of when I'm gonna get to eat that, you know, Big Mac or chocolate bar, whatever it was that I was excited for. And, you know, let's just say, by the way, your boy is obsessed with Chinese food. I mean, Chinese food, there's no better food out there. I mean, if you disagree, then just go ahead and, you know, click off this video, because we don't want that kind of attitude over here, okay? On a real note, it didn't, you see, here's the thing. When you are studying, you're stressed out, you start eating, you know, for comfort, and then you don't even realize the weight's coming on. I mean, guys, I was in a basement for 6 months at a time studying for my United States medical licensing exams. I didn't really have a reason to, you know, take care of myself in the sense of like looking good, you know, making sure I was well groomed. I mean, I'm gonna be pretty honest with you. When you're stuck in a basement studying for 12, 16 hours a day, you know, you're not thinking about how, you know, your hair looks or what you're gonna wear. You literally just put on sweats and a t-shirt and you go downstairs and you accomplish the assignment or the task or whatever it is, you know? So things kind of, you know, started to get kind of crazy. And here's where it kind of started to get a little bit rough. Because, you know, in the past, I went on many diets. I mean, the only way I was able to lose weight in the past and even attempt to keep it off was by doing some sort of, crash diet. I mean, I can't tell you guys how many times I did Slim Fast, how many times I paid for a personal trainer, and then, 2 to 3 months after I would stop working out or stop drinking the Slim Fast, all the weight that I would lose would be right back on. I mean, I would always lose 20 pounds. That was like the number. For some reason, 20 pounds is what I would lose. And then my brain and motivation shut off at that point. So, fast forwarding to medical school, what happened was you're in the basement, you're studying, you're literally focused on one thing. You have no social life. Food's the only thing you got to look forward to. So I was just sort of I know I'm putting on weight. I didn't really realize how much weight I was putting on because I wasn't weighing myself. But I gave myself the excuse that I didn't need to worry about my weight because I had to study. Now, let's do the math here because we've got 4 exams to take. Well, now it's 3, but we had 4 exams to take, and I would take about 6 months to study for each of them. And when you add that much time up, little by little, sweet Hawaiian rolls start to pile up. They get stored in your thighs, in your booty, everywhere. And, it kind of caused a problem at home because my parents started to see how big I was getting. And, let's be honest. Ain't nobody want to be told that they're getting fat. Ain't nobody want to be told that they gotta do something about it, especially when they're stressed out, right? So this caused a lot of, family feuds in the house. I mean, it would get to the point where I would, be eating and I would go to put barbecue sauce on my food. I mean, I always put barbecue sauce on my food. Or I would want Chinese food anytime we went out to eat. And comments started to be made. So things like, hey, I think that's enough. You do really need barbecue sauce this meal. Things like that. And, being already self-conscious as I was from my past and already having, body image issues and already being stressed out from these exams, I was, extremely sensitive. I would flip out. I would, tell them to stop. You're making me more depressed. And this is not to hate on my parents. And, guys, I'm going to be honest with you. Sometimes, what we don't want to hear is exactly what we need to hear. And, my dad was the one person that it really bothered me when he would say it. You have that one person that always bothers you when they say it. And it's because my dad was always, he was always on me. He wanted to make sure I succeeded. He wanted to make sure that I was the best version of myself. And when you're in that situation at the time, looking back, you don't really see that. You don't really understand that. You think that they're just judging you, that they don't, love you, that they don't, care for you, whatever it is. And it just really put me in a depressive state of mind. And that's when the, I want to say the real eating disorder started. Because what ended up happening was I would wait, I would be studying, I would get up maybe between 10 and 1 o'clock, 10 in the morning, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and I would study until 3, 4 in the morning. And, the thing is, once they went upstairs, my parents always had this routine, 10 o'clock on the dot, they're upstairs, they're passed out. So what would I start to do? I would start to go to the grocery store because, here in America, well, I don't really think we have them much anymore, but there were a lot of 24-hour grocery stores. I mean, this could be 10 o'clock, this could be midnight, this could be 1 in the morning. I'd be like, you know what? I want to eat bulgogi and fries, or I want to eat, lasagna, or whatever it is. I'm going to the grocery store. And I would go to the grocery store, I would buy everything that I needed, and then I would come home. And, it got so sophisticated how I hid my, cooking and binge eating from my parents, like I would open up the windows, guys, okay? Like open up the windows so that the smell would go out the window and not upstairs and wake my parents up. You know, like, I mean, that's pretty messed up when you think about it. You know, I would make sure that I had a separate garbage bag for all of my, you know, trash from the groceries that I got, and I would take it outside and throw it outside so that they wouldn't see any evidence of what happened the night before. And, you know, unfortunately, when I look at it back, you know, when I look back at it now, that was my happy place. Like, that was the one time I felt like I could just be myself. It was kind of revenge eating, actually, if you think about it. It was like, okay, you know what? You don't want me to have that barbecue sauce? Well, you know what? I'm gonna have it anyway, and I'm gonna have as much of it as I want, and you're not gonna know about it, and you're gonna do nothing about it. But what you can't hide is the weight that gets put on because of it, right? So here's where the story starts to shift a little bit, is I had, you know, several family members and several close friends get the operation. It was one of those situations where I started to see their success. I mean, they were really successful on it. They did so well on it, and I was jealous of that. But when you think about cutting your stomach out, right? You're just like, oh my God, I'm never gonna be able to go to a buffet again. I'm never gonna be able to binge eat again. So, you know, the thing was that I wanted what they had, but I wasn't in the right mindset to decide for myself that that's what I wanted. So then a little birdie came in and started to encourage me to consider that. And of course, my dad was like, hey, I really think you should get the surgery. Look at the, you know, look at their results. Look at their quality of life now. And, you know, while that was great and all, I'm not disagreeing with what my father did. It became kind of consistent, like, hey, I really think this is what you should do. And here's the thing, guys, and let me make this very, very clear. I can't stress this enough. I don't care if it's the Pope, the president, whoever it is, you have to make that decision for yourself, because bariatric surgery is non-reversible. This is not like a pill that you take and, hey, I want to stop taking the pill and going back to my old ways. This is a life-changing, permanent decision. So one of the things that, you know, I am happy about is that at the time I told my dad, no, I'm not getting it because I don't think it's for me. And you know what? To his credit, he stopped. And as time went on and the situation got more dire, I started to have, you know, serious health problems. I was, you know, this is what really changed my mind. I was 3 months away, according to my lab results, of getting type 2 diabetes if I continued eating the way that I was eating. I mean, it was like that. I was just like a few points under being diagnosed with diabetes based on my hemoglobin A1C levels and my blood sugar levels. So when that happened, I was like, oh, hell no, not happening, you know? And that's when I really did some soul searching. I sat down with myself and I was just like, okay, you really need to figure out what it is that you want in life. Do you want to continue going to the buffets during lunch? You know, when I was working, I would go to the Chinese buffet, believe it or not, and binge eat and come back, and I would always be exhausted and, you know, have indigestion and heartburn, and none of my, you know, coworkers understood why, like, because I didn't tell them I went to the Chinese buffet. I mean, like, you know, I was sitting with myself like, is this really what you want? I mean, food's great and all. It's not like you're never going to be able to eat again, Max. You're just not going to be able to go in, you know, to the $10 Chinese buffet and eat 5 plates of food every day, you know? And do you want to die at 30? I mean, guys, you have to understand, I come from a pedigree Egyptian family with the worst genetics. I'm talking heart disease, diabetes, cancer, strokes. I mean, you name it, it's in my family. It's in my direct relatives. you know, my aunts, my uncles, my like grandparents. Like the risk was very, very real. So that's when I decided enough's enough. You need to get weight loss surgery. And I'll tell you why I decided to go for weight loss surgery. That's because I had tried every program under the sun. I had tried Saxenda, the medication, which I'll do a video on in the future. I had tried Slim Fast, like I said, personal trainers. I mean, we're talking tens of thousands of dollars over the years to try to get me to lose weight. And I would lose weight. I mean, there was one time I lost 70 pounds with a personal trainer. But here's the problem. It never lasted. Maybe 6 months after that successful, you know, rodeo, I put all the weight back on and more. I always put the weight back on and more. And I just kind of came to the decision that weight loss surgery was necessary for me to be able to lose this weight and to be able to keep it off, you know, for the rest of my life, or at least keep it off for 10, 20, 30 years, you know? And then if we had to deal with it then, we'll deal with it then. But at least it gave me, you know, that much more time. And that's when I went up to my parents and I was like, you know what? This is what I'm gonna do. This is what I wanna do. I wanna get weight loss surgery. So they were obviously very supportive. Now, when you sign up to get weight loss surgery, you know, I'll make more detailed videos on all of these things, guys. Let me know if you have any questions about the process. I'm just kind of like doing a 3-year anniversary type video, letting you guys know where I'm at, was it worth it, things like that. And then I'll be doing a lot more detailed videos later down the line about specific things. But like when you sign up to get weight loss surgery, before you can even go see the doctor, you have to go get go to a presentation where they outline all the different kinds of surgeries and what your options are. So I ended up doing that, and you know, my family went with me to each of my appointments for the first couple times, and you know, it was one of those, you know, like I brought them because I wanted somebody to hold me accountable. You know, because it wasn't pleasant. I mean, they were kind of just like looking at the surgeon going like, do something, please fix him. And, you know, in a way, I'm kind of glad that that happened, because it kind of made me realize like, all right, if you're honestly going to make the decision to do this, you know, you need to take this seriously. So, you know, I'm going to make a video on what my process of getting surgery was like. Later on, because I don't want this video to be super long. But to make a long story short, I ended up, you know, getting approved for surgery. There were a lot of issues in there, so stay tuned for an upcoming video, because believe me, I can't tell you how many risks I took. I mean, I'm talking, I pushed their buttons. I'm surprised I got the surgery. Let's just put it that way. So I'm gonna make a separate video on what happened with all of that, because that's a whole nother chapter. And I ended up getting the surgery. And, you know, up to the surgery, you've got to go through liquid diet. It's like, it's pretty intense, okay? But it's really not that bad. So I don't want to discourage anybody who's really thinking of getting the surgery. Everything they ask you to do, you can do it. It's all in your head, okay? I need you to understand that right now. You can do it, all right? So I had to push through all that. I had to get through it. I mean, I had my surgery on June 17th. My birthday is June 19th. So I spent my birthday on, you know, on a couch, you know, with barely, you know, drinking nothing but, oh, these are going to become your best friends, okay? If you don't like these now, get used to them, because they're going to be around unless you have like a lactose issue. Then they've got other recommendations. But, you know, trying to drink this and understand my new stomach, and it was, you know, it was a shock. Like, I remember sitting there going like, did I seriously just cut my stomach out? Like, did my best friend just get amputated from me, you know? And pretty much what they do is your stomach is like the size of a football, an American football, and they turn it into a banana. that's when you get the gastric sleeve. Now, the bypass is a whole different option. I ended up getting the gastric sleeve, which is usually what people get first, and because then if it fails, they can switch the gastric sleeve into a gastric bypass. So I made the decision to get the sleeve, and it was just like, I just remember really struggling with the idea that I had cut out my stomach. And let me tell you, you're gonna have a lot of regret. I don't care how mentally prepared you are for this. I don't care how motivated you are for this. There's gonna always be a part of you that's going to regret this surgery. I had a lot of regret, and I had to learn how to eat again. I mean, you literally like starting from scratch here, but the weight just started to come off. It was like I would take 2 bites of a chicken breast and I would be full. I mean, full to the point where I'm like I just went to the Chinese buffet, okay? I was drinking my protein shakes, and my hair was falling out. I had to take my vitamins. I mean, this is also going to be your best friend, okay? Like some sort of bariatric multivitamin. Now, if you're me, the last 3 years, you don't follow the rules. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. When you go through the follow-up, okay, not many people on YouTube say this. Nobody says this to you, but I'm gonna go ahead and say this, okay? When you go to the follow-ups, what they're gonna do is they're gonna weigh you, they're gonna tell you what you need to eat, how you need to eat, they're gonna tell you what vitamins you need to take because they're gonna do blood tests, and that's amazing. I'm not speaking ill of that process or anything. But what really frustrated me after the surgery was that there's no room for flexibility. It's like, this is your life now. This is how you have to live. It's pretty much like such a dark message to the point where it's like, if you don't follow these exact steps, you're going to die, or you're gonna put all the weight back on. And I'm just gonna be honest with you, that's not true, okay? Like, it doesn't work that way. There are, consequences of not following certain things. Like, one of those, I'm gonna admit it right now, is I stopped taking my bariatric vitamins. I stopped drinking protein shakes, and I would just go back to the junk food, because let's be honest, okay? When I got the surgery, I had to undergo, psychiatric therapy and things like that, and a lot of things were rushed. I think, they do a good job of, making the process very rigorous and getting you to really understand what it is that you're getting yourself into. But even then, I just felt like, I wanted to be thin. That's all I cared about. I didn't really comprehend what it was gonna be like to get my stomach removed. Most of my stomach removed, okay? I just thought, okay, I'm gonna get my stomach removed and then I can just eat what I want after the surgery, but because I'm gonna be eating small portions, I'm gonna lose weight. And that was the case for like 8 months, okay? And then after that, stopped losing weight. Wasn't following the program. I lost my insurance, and here in the United States, we've got so many different types of insurance. So I lost my Medicaid. That's what I was on at the time that I got the surgery, and I ended up going on an HMO because I was working, and they didn't accept my HMO, so I couldn't go see my bariatric surgeon anymore afterwards. So I stopped going to the follow-ups. And these are all things that they're going to talk to you about. These are all things that you're going to need to understand that happen after surgery. And that's I'm not blaming the surgeons for it. I'm not blaming the medical practice or anything. I knew all of this stuff. But here's the thing, guys. You don't follow the rules, okay? It's going to be hell after the surgery. Because I'm going to be honest with you. Maintaining your health, and I'm not talking about your weight, I'm talking about your health. Making sure you're getting enough protein, your vitamins, your sleep, your exercise is a lot harder than prior to surgery, okay? Because if you don't make the right decisions like I did, all right, you're gonna end up losing your hair, you're gonna get skin problems, you're gonna get mental problems, you're just gonna deteriorate, altogether. And that's why it's very important that you understand what kind of an operation this is. And, there were also other side effects that came along with the surgery that I didn't really think I was gonna have to deal with. And that the main one being really, really bad acid reflux. And that's because your pouch is now so much smaller, so it's much easier for the acid to get up into the esophagus. And I had severe acid reflux prior to the surgery, okay? And there were a lot of habits that I did not change after the surgery. And if Mordor and Mount Doom were an actual place that existed, I'm pretty sure it's in my stomach. Little Frodo is running around with the little ring in Max's stomach trying to throw it in there, and trust me, the acid is strong enough to even take care of, Sauron or whatever. Sorry, I'm just being a dork right now. When I say my acid reflux is that much worse because of a lot of the decisions that I make, like if I eat chocolate or if I drink too much coffee, things like that, you have to be prepared for that, guys. This is a physically altering procedure. You're never going to be able to go back, You're not going to be able to be like, oh, hey, I want my stomach back. And I think for me, that was the thing that I struggled with the most. Now, besides all that, what ended up happening was I started to lose weight. I was really motivated. I was really happy, but I wasn't following the rules like I just explained. And then my uncle died, who was my godfather. And he was the first loss on my dad's side of the family. And my dad's side of the family, they all immigrated here to Chicago together. 5 siblings. I have 13 cousins. We were all extremely close. And when that happened, he was the first loss on my dad's side of the family. That really, affected us. A lot of us in my family went to a deep depression. And then when we didn't think things could get worse, 3 months later, my dad died. And a month after that, COVID. And then after that, we had to deal with legal problems. And I had to study for my Step 3 exams. And I was, there were major changes going on at my job. And it was one thing after another, after another, after another, within a 6-month period. And believe me, when I say I have never, ever dealt with a mental and physical challenge like those 6 months ever in my life. I was so emotionally broken by what happened. And then on top of that, I'm having to work and study for exams and take care of my father's estate and deal with legal issues and trying to understand not only what my new stomach is like, but now what my new life is like. So, with not being able to go see my doctor, I did have therapy, which was a good thing, but not being able to go see the surgeon and do the follow-up plan, and kind of just, like I said, seeing really good results for those first 9 months, I kind of stopped caring. And it was, I just kind of felt, okay, God, give me this one thing, Jesus, please, just let me eat how I want to eat and allow me to continue losing weight like I was for those 9 months. But that didn't happen. He was like, oh, no, I'm going to test you even more. And it was just my weight loss stopped. But I didn't put on weight. That was the most interesting thing. Even though I wasn't following the bariatric diet, because my portions were so small, I didn't put on weight. And I maintained my weight. So if you guys want to know, let me just kind of like talk you guys through my numbers, and then, you know, this will better explain what ended up happening. So when I started my surgery, you know, process, I was 298 pounds. And then I got to, I want to say 260 something. I want to say 265. I can't really remember at the time of surgery. And then I told myself that my first goal was going to be 199. And I got to 207. 207 was the lowest that I got to. And then when I got to the 207, that's when everything happened. That's when I stopped caring. That's when I continued to eat the way I wanted to, but I was limited by my portions. I wasn't focusing on protein. I wasn't focusing on low carb. I wasn't taking my multivitamins. And then I got up to 225. So I did put on a decent amount of weight. Actually, I don't know why I said that I didn't put on any weight. I did put on weight, but that was over a 6-month period, okay? And then after that, I lost 5 pounds. And 220 is where I've been. 220 is where I've stayed at since I got surgery 3 years ago. And here's the thing, guys. You know, I didn't reach my goal. It was an extremely difficult few years after surgery that I felt definitely contributed to, you know, my stall. But, you know, at the end of the day, I can sit here and give myself so many excuses. The fault was mine. I didn't stick to the program. I knew the mistakes that I was making. I knew that I could have done better. I wasn't exercising, guys. That's a huge other one. I'm not an exerciser, okay? I'm gonna say it right now. You know, part of why I started this YouTube channel was to be honest with you guys, to tell you everything, and to kind of help myself get on track. If I don't have a personal trainer, Max doesn't exercise, you know, and that's just the reality of my situation. And I'm trying to work on that, you know. But here's the thing, okay? I have never been able to lose 78 pounds and keep it off, ever. Like, ever. So, to answer your question on whether the surgery was worth it or not, my answer is hell yes. Absolutely. 100%. Regardless of the mistakes that were made, regardless of the things that I still have to learn. I mean, you know, guys, surgery is like one of those things, you get it, and it's a learning process for the rest of your life. Like, don't expect, you know, if you're gonna master the bariatric diet, if you're gonna master everything, that it's gonna go perfectly after surgery, because it's not, trust me. There's a huge rate of failure. There's a huge rate of, you know, gastric sleeve to gastric bypass, you know, conversions, like. So when, you know, I get really frustrated when people tell me that this is the easy way out, because it's not. In fact, I wanna say I'm finding it so much more difficult now to maintain my health than it was prior to surgery. Because prior to surgery, guys, I had luscious locks. I mean, I was freaking Rapunzel, okay? I had, you know, extreme amounts of energy. I could go on very little sleep, you know, because I had so many energy stores and so many nutrients and vitamins in my system. It was very easy for me because I was eating so much. And believe it or not, I mean, I did eat a lot of, you know, healthy things. It's just that moderation was never really, you know, my strong suit. So in addition to barbecue sauce and all that stuff, I would have tons of salad and things like that. So I was getting my micronutrients. But after surgery, when I wasn't paying attention to my protein, my hair fell out. When I wasn't paying attention to my micronutrients, my skin was brittle. You know, I got acne super bad, heartburn was really bad, energy levels were off, it was terrible. I mean, guys, like, you need to understand that you're gonna have to stay committed to your protein shakes and your multivitamins and your exercise if you really want this to be successful. And for all those people out there that say, oh, it's just the easy way out, absolutely not. If you say that, you're extremely ignorant. And I'm just going to be straight up honest. You're extremely ignorant if you say that bariatric surgery is the easy way out. Because I dare you to cut out 80% of your stomach and deal with what we have to deal with after it, okay? And, I'm sorry if it's coming off like harsh, but that's the reality, is that some people need to be told, what the truth is. And my truth is that bariatric surgery is one of the bravest decisions you can make. It's one of the most difficult decisions you will make. It will break you. It will make you cry. I don't care if you're Arnold Schwarzenegger or whoever, you will cry. You will get upset. It will crush you. But at the end of the day, my dudes and my dudettes, you will emerge like a phoenix from the ashes. I don't care how cheesy that sounds, but it's true, because you will learn so much about yourself. You will learn so much about why it is that you struggle with eating, why you eat the way that you eat, why you hurt the way that you hurt, because you're gonna explore all of that. You're gonna trust me, it's gonna be a whirlwind of an adventure, but it's gonna be the best adventure that you ever go on. And I really, really, want you, if you're really considering this surgery, do it, okay? And here's, the most difficult thing for me to have come to understand after this whole process. And I'm sure a lot of you will relate to this, and this is probably one of the most personal things I'm going to say, is, not having my dad around, who was my, number one cheerleader. At the time, I didn't really, understand that. I thought he was my number one enemy. But not having him around to see, what his encouragement, and at times, his harshness did, I realized that every single thing he did was to make sure that I wasn't laying next to him in the ground right now. And guys, I want to take this moment to tell you that if you have a family member, or if you have someone in your life that seems like they're being really harsh on you for your weight, I want you to take this moment to forgive them. Because they may not understand that maybe their method isn't, the best. But I need you to understand that what they're doing is an act of the utmost love. Because if my dad did not push me to really think about my health and my weight, and it had nothing to do with the way I looked. Believe me, I know sometimes that's what it feels like. You're just like, oh, well, I'm not, you're just upset because your kid's fat and looks ugly and isn't gonna, find an attractive person to be with or something like that. It has nothing to do with what you look like. It has everything to do with prolonging and enhancing your life. And that's something that I realized too late. And it's one of those things that I had to really work through. But to my dad, I say thank you. I really do. And to every single person who encouraged me, who helped me, who gave me a shoulder to cry on, I want to say thank you. Because I don't think I would be here if I didn't get that surgery. And, if you guys are considering it, trust me, we're no different. But you need to make this decision for yourself, and you need to understand what comes with it. And you need to understand that it's okay to cry. It's okay to get help. You don't have to do it alone. All right? And I know so many people will be like, oh, well, you didn't lose all the weight you were supposed to. Or, you know, this is an example of a failed bariatric surgery. People can say whatever they want, okay? They can say whatever they want to you. At the end of the day, it's how you feel. It's your decision, nobody else's decision. And I really, really hope that just like me, you find out that it was the best decision of your life. And, you know, guys, I'm here to talk to you, to encourage you. If any of you guys have any questions on, you know, anything, I don't care. Like, just comment down below, guys. I want to talk to you guys. I want to have a discussion with you guys about this. If you disagree with everything I said, go ahead and put that down below. I'd love to argue it too. You know, what I want to do is spread my truth, encourage those that want help to seek it. I'm not saying you have to get weight loss surgery. There's so many different options, guys. But if this is what you're really considering, this is my story, okay? And, you know, I remember before getting my surgery, I used to watch story after story on YouTube, you know, just trying to understand what the process was like, whether they thought it was worth it or not, you know? And if I can just encourage you to take that step forward, at least to go to the informational session. Go to that informational session. I went to the informational session and it was 3 months after I went to the informational session that I decided to get the surgery. And then there was a 2-month waiting list to see the surgeon. So just because you go to the informational session doesn't mean you're getting surgery. It doesn't mean you're married to it, you know? But if I can just encourage you to take a step forward in any direction, then, you know, I've accomplished my mission. And I'm here to talk to you guys, like I said. So go ahead and message me down below. Guys, I promise you I'm going to be doing videos on, you know, what the process is to get surgery, what, you know, eating is like for me now, supplementation, everything that has to do with bariatric surgery. I'm here for you. I'm going to be making videos on that. And if you guys want to have me make a video on any specific topic related to weight loss surgery, you know, comment down below, guys, because I'm doing this for you and I want to know what it is that you guys want to know about. I know this is a long one. I appreciate you guys sticking around. I really, really appreciate the reaction to my last video with my cousin Marina, where we did the Dutch versus American, you know, health food. So if you guys want to see more videos like that too, go ahead and comment it down below. You know, guys, I can't tell you enough how much this was the best decision of my life. And, you know, I really, really hope that this video helps you guys and my future videos on this topic help you guys out. And like I said, don't be shy. On that note, guys, I'm gonna end this video. But before I go, don't forget to supplement and subscribe. Peace out.